What's up, everybody? It's Mikhail Casanova coming at you with another episode of Decked Up, a Steam Deck Gaming and Tech podcast. I'm your host, Mikhail Casanova, and I'm here today to talk about quite a number of things, I guess you could say. There's a lot of things that I feel like talking about when it comes to this whole outrage right now for Nintendo. People are in their feelings. Like, people are legit mad. How dare Nintendo decide to um stop or try to shut down the yuzu and emulation? You got folks calling out Nintendo like, "Oh, I dare you to take it down, Nintendo!" Like, oh my god, it's funny to me. This whole situation is funny because on the one hand, I get the whole thing with emulation, right? You know, people want to emulate, and in many ways, there's a counter argument that people who emulate don't support the official releases for games that come out, and so they're just being pirates. So, okay, I kind of want to take a bit of a level-headed, as best as I can, stance on this whole situation. And that's not the only thing. We're going to talk about some other stuff as well. We're going to be talking about we hit a milestone. So we have officially reached 20,000 subscribers on this channel on YouTube. I'm incredibly excited about that. And other things I want to talk about is some of the stuff I've been doing over the weekend. You know, I got to interview voice acting, icon, and Caitlin Glass. You guys know her as Cammy in Street Fighter, from Street Fighter 4, 5, Cross Tekken, and she's in Street Fighter 6, returning as Cammy. She's also a senior voice director at Crunchyroll. So that was really cool getting to interview her yesterday. And, you know, other than that, just my time on TikTok, because I've been doing a lot of streaming on TikTok, and I've been really enjoying it. I think it's kind of like stoked my passion for streaming to return. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that. And before we do all that, you guys already know what to do. If you're watching the video format here on YouTube, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel. If you haven't already, leave a comment and, you know, all that good stuff. If you are listening to it on any of the major podcasting platforms, then hey, you know, leave a rating, share it around, you know, all that good stuff. So, all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into talking about, first off, let's talk about the 20,000 subscribers. So, that right there has been truly amazing. Like, I honestly never thought I would get to a point before where this channel was ever going to regain the momentum it once had. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been doing this YouTube channel since technically 2015, but I officially took it seriously in 2016. And then I was kind of doing just about everything. You know, I was doing reactions, unboxings, because back then unboxings was like really, really a huge thing. So I was doing the unboxings. At one point I was doing giveaways, you know, I was doing reviews. I was just kind of all over the place before I really figured out what I wanted to do. And when I settled into doing podcasting, because I was doing podcasts with you know, one of my former best friends, and we, you know, we had our own little show, and then he ended up moving, and then I had all the equipment left over, and I just kept doing it. And so, you know, I created Casanova podcast, and initially it was just me talking about tech, then going on to me talking about things I was interested in, you know, beyond tech, and then me interviewing other YouTubers, and then going from YouTubers to celebrities and industry folks. And it just became legitimately, I know I say often like, Casanova podcast, number one podcast in Hawaii. It's not a joke, because it is, you know, for what it's bringing for entertainment, tech, and gaming. That is the number one show here. And just, it's really amazing to me that the shift that you know, when I shifted towards like, you know, celebrities and such, the channel just really started taking off. And then the pandemic came around, and that's when it just started tapering off because, like, you know, I was going through and dealing with a lot of stuff, from other content creators to, stuff in my personal life and so much more. So it really just came down to being a situation where, like, I just lost that focus and drive and motivation. I was kind of drifting for a bit. So the momentum I had started to fall off. And then when I started getting really back, into the groove of content creating, more serious, more dedicated, I had my second win from 2021 to 2022, especially when I started covering Steam Deck stuff. That really, I got a massive surge from covering Steam Deck. But then I started to realize something, and it's something that you know I I feel like other creators who are making Steam Deck content and specific content, they may not care about this, which is why they have so many different channels. But I started to feel boxed in. And as much as I do love the Steam Deck, I don't want that to be the only thing I'm talking about. Right. So my shifting away from full on just Steam Deck coverage did start taking a hit on the channel and started slowing down the growth. Like, I went from gaining thousands of subs to it started trickling off. And so I shifted back into covering things I care about: tech, gaming, entertainment, anime and such. And while I do have a variety channel, YouTube now doesn't really encourage you to have a variety channel, even though they have everything in place for you to have, you customize playlists, have podcasts, and all this other stuff. It still wants to put you in a category, and that's where you're at. So when I got stuck in the Steam Deck category and I couldn't do anything else really, I didn't think I was going to be able to continue to grow. But thankfully, shorts came around, and you guys know I put out shorts daily. And a lot of people may not care about that, but short form content is the direction that content creation on all of these social media platforms is going. So either you're going to get on the trend and ride the wave, or you're going to just refuse to do it and then wonder why you're not having success, which is what a lot of people have run into. So by my covering, doing the shorts and all that stuff, which has really helped the channel continue to grow, we finally, like, I literally woke up today, I was like, oh snap, we got 20,000 subscribers. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. And so it's just been a wild journey. Like, I hit 10,000 back in, I want to say, 2019, and here we are in 2023 in May, and I've hit 20,000. And so my goal is next, like, I want to hit, of course, 30,000, 40,000. But my tier goals are, I want to hit 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and then I want to hit 100,000. Now, don't have a time frame on it. I want to put a year on myself just to see if I can push and, just go all out and make that happen. So that's one of the goals for me personally. But it's just crazy. Like, I'm here. It feels great. Um, but it's one of those things where, like, you achieve it, like the way I am. When I achieve a goal, I don't really stop there. Like, I'm not gonna rest on it. I want to get to the next goal because it's a stepping stone, and I want to keep going. So that's where I'm at now. And I'm very grateful to all of you who have supported, the channel, all of you who are patrons, channel members, those of you who have stuck around for years, those of you who are new. Thank you for helping make this possible, because I'm incredibly grateful for that. But outside of that, yeah, the other things over the weekend that I actually got to do, this was really, really cool, was interviewing voice acting legend and icon Caitlin Glass. Like I said in the intro, she voices Cammy and Street Fighter, so Street Fighter 4, 5, Cross Tekken, and also the upcoming Street Fighter 6. She's a senior voice director over at Crunchyroll, which is crazy. Getting to talk to her for like an hour and a half just talking about, and this is on the other podcast I do with my wife, Lihua Superfina. So, Podcast Across Worlds, which is Hawaii's number one go to for anime and manga. So we got that chance to interview her, talk to her, and talk about, upcoming Street Fighter 6, talk about stuff that she's done. Like, she was the voice of Winry Rockbell and Full Metal Alchemist, as well as the voice of Hitomi Kanzuki in Escaflowne, and so many other things. Like, it's crazy. She's like done 20 plus projects every single year since 2014. It is absolutely insane. So, getting an opportunity to interview her, and then we're only going further from there. We got Richard Epcar, which will be coming on the show, Dorothy Fawn. Um, we're gonna have Ruben Langdon. We're gonna have the voice of Todoroki, David Matranga. He's also the current voice of Ken Masters in Street Fighter 6. Eventually, we're going to get Johnny Young Bosch on the show. I've had him on my main show. And so many other people like in the voice acting industry is so, so cool. And so many other, cool industry folks, not only just from voice acting, but just entertainment, gaming, and, companies and so much more. We got so much that we're doing on Podcasts Across Worlds, so much we're going to be doing with this show, and so much I'm going to be doing with the Casanova podcast. So it's just, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunities I have. And I know like some people might look like, your stuff doesn't look all that great. Look at all this the stuff behind you. And I'm over here like, you know what? I don't have a team. I don't have this massive $1,000,000, $1,000 like studio to go and just shoot videos in, and that's all I ever do with it. I'm a everyday stay-at-home working dad. And hopefully that level of realism can come through to you guys who watch and listen to this, channel and podcast. So, that's what makes me different. Like, I don't have all the glitz and glam, but I keep it a buck with you. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, I'm just it's such a blessing sitting and realizing like where I was and where I'm going. So that was cool. And some of the other things I've been doing lately, like I haven't streamed really on YouTube in a long time. There's a reason for that too. My other gaming desktop died. So I've literally had in 1 month 2 computers die on me. So my gaming laptop, my gaming desktop, they both died. And my gaming laptop I replaced with this Mac Studio, and my gaming desktop is off for repair. Hopefully they can fix it by this week, if not next week. But either way, um, that's one reason I haven't been streaming on YouTube. I mean, I can stream from using this Mac and the capture card I have, but I just chose not to do that. But I have been streaming on TikTok, and a lot of people kind of turn their nose up at TikTok. They're like, oh, I guess if that's where you get your following, and that kind of thing. Because a lot of people look at TikTok as just the thing for young people. I don't think a lot of people realize the opportunities that are there on TikTok. Like, I'm about to get into the creator program where I can start making revenue off of, just streaming and posting content on TikTok. And, you know, there's a thing that separates people who succeed from those who don't. And it's the willingness, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur in business, it's the willingness to do what others are not willing to do and to put in the work that other people are not willing to do. So a lot of you who, look at my content or listen to my podcast, you see the final result of it. You don't see the behind the scenes where, I'm working with the different equipment, the audio interfaces, the mics, software, the hardware, the playing stages, scripting things out, trying to go out and also doing all that on top of, having a 2-year-old run around and teenagers. So there's a lot that goes into content creating and business as a whole. Also there's the legal aspect of like, trademarking your name and your branding and, getting a business license and getting your EIN and all the other stuff that goes with it. And, I say all that to say that I've had a lot of instances like where I use a case in point. Um, a lot of content creators I've knew, and have known, and have worked with want to do this as a full time career. I do this full time, not just YouTube, but it's a spectrum of things I do that allow me to work from home. And so when I have worked with and talked to other creators, they're really gung ho and ready to do it. And then when they see the amount of work that goes into not only, you're streaming, you got no viewers, or you're making videos and barely getting views, like they get hit with that, and then they lose all the confidence and desire to want to do this. And then you got those who not only have that issue, but they throw all their eggs into the hat. And if they don't see an immediate result, then, to them, it's like, oh, you can't make it. And they'll be the ones to tell people, don't quit your job, and don't consider becoming a full time content creator. It's irresponsible, all this other stuff. I'm here to tell you it's a process. And if anyone is going to tell you that it's harder now to be a content creator or effectively an entrepreneur, they're wrong, because the amount of stuff that's available to you now, the amount of software, the AI and all the other stuff that you can utilize, TubeBuddy, vidIQ, all this other stuff that's out there to help you for like content creating on various different platforms is there. We're at a time now where the barrier of entry is so low, but because the barrier of entry is low, you got a higher tide of people coming in trying to do it. So your competition, and I know it's kind of a thing where people say like, you don't really have competition on YouTube, and content creating in general. You don't, but you do. You know, for everything you're unwilling to do, somebody else will do it. And the biggest thing for me with all of this is, how hungry are you? I know a lot of people that start and stop, and they don't have the tenacity to keep with this, or generally anything. You look at a lot of things that they do and they start and stop all the time. And it's like, when I see people do YouTube or they do podcasting for a bit and then they drop it, I'm not surprised, because to me, I'm like, well, you didn't stick with anything else. Why would you stick with this? And that's not a shot at anyone. I don't want anyone to take that as, I'm crapping on them, because I'm really not. But it's more of a thing of where I'm like, you know, this, like anything else, you got to look at it like sports. Like, you're not going to pick up today and just start playing football and then think you're going to make it to, D1 or so, or, and then, go straight to the NFL. It's a process. You got to put in the time and work to be able to do this, to be decent at it. Anyone who makes it into the NFL is not average. They work their asses off to get there. And so you got to have that level of dedication to be able to do it. It's not something you're just going to roll over and do it and then boom, all of a sudden you're viral. But, a lot of people, they just don't have that thing. And that's really what separates a lot of people who are successful. And, case in point, like when I think about the podcast my wife and I are doing, podcast across worlds, me being the second co-host for the show. The first co-host, this is not to run them down, but like, they literally didn't take it seriously. They didn't want to go anywhere. And it went on to be something where, you know, conflicting interests, let's just put it that way. You had my wife who really wanted to take it somewhere, and a co-host who just wanted to fart around. I'm trying to limit my cursing around my child, but that it's just one of the things. Like, you got to want to do this. You got to be hungry. You got to be willing to put in the work. And you can't, and I see it a lot where people get jealous of those who are succeeding. And to me, that's the most foolish thing, because why get mad at them? If they got an opportunity, that means you can get opportunities too. You may not get the same opportunities they got, but you can still get opportunities nonetheless. Like, case in point, all the people that stuck with just doing Steam Deck stuff and have blown up. 60, 70,000, 100,000 plus, subscribers on YouTube, and getting hundreds of thousands of views every single week. That's cool. I'm happy for them. I'm not mad at them for effectively doing better than me in that aspect. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, I'm content. I get to make content on what I care about. I still make money to be able to take care of my condo here, take care of my kids, food on the table, and all that. And, I still get amazing opportunities to work with companies, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Turtle Beach, Rocket, Need Mics, who sponsor this podcast, Need Microphones, Turtle Beach, and Rocket. They do. And, all the stuff, Pixel, like Google Pixel being a sponsor of the podcast, reason I have the Pixel phones. Actually, the reason I got two of them. One's my wife's, that's hers. But, being part of Team Pixel, and all the different opportunities that have come my way. I'm so grateful. I don't have time to be jealous, and I know some people have taken like some of the things I've said before in the past as like, oh, you're just jealous that these people are doing better than you. No, what I do is I call out selectively at times the BS that I see, the clickbait. I see that and I'm like, well, I see what that's meant to be, but I don't know if everyone else is. So when I discuss that, then people assume, oh, you're taking shots. I'm not taking shots. I'm explaining this so you can understand why people do it. Because at the end of the day, all of us who are making content, be it podcasts, YouTube, or whatever, we got to eat. And so you, the viewer, effectively are one of the ways that we get paid. So people clickbait and you click on it because it's something sensational, like sensationalized right now. Like the whole thing right now with people being mad at Nintendo and you know, all over the yuzu thing and piracy and emulation and all this. And it's just interesting. I've been around long enough to see people's outrage over stuff like that and see a lot of it be fake outrage because it's like, I'm doing this. I'm a call out Nintendo, but I'm also doing this so that everyone else who watches it will just hop on and see me as the good guy. There's marketing manipulation around it, is what I'm saying, and a lot of YouTubers do that. A lot of companies do that. So it's what it is. Would I be mad at Nintendo? Am I mad at them for trying, doing cease and desist and going after emulation companies? No. At the end of the day, it's their intellectual properties. Now, do they make it easy for you to like, you know, get their games beyond whatever is currently out now? No. I mean, even hell, a lot of Switch games are very difficult to find now because they had a limited life cycle. Try to get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna of the Golden Country, the physical cart. Apparently, you can't buy it anymore. I'm lucky I bought 3 of them back when it came out because I'm a huge Xeno fan. You know, my wife had one, I got one, and we got one we didn't open. Same thing with each, version of the game, from the Wii original, the 3DS version of the Wii game, definitive edition, 2 collector's edition, 3 collector's edition, X collector's edition for the Wii U. I've got Xenogears Millennium Edition, which is Japan exclusive, Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3, and I've got the exclusive collector's editions, which are Japanese only, for those as well. And I've got the reloaded versions. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, damn, I lost my point. Where was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry. The fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, I mean, even base Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and many other Switch games are not at all easy to find anymore physically. Digitally, yeah, you can get them all day. But a lot of people want physical games, and especially for legacy consoles, with how the retro market has gone insane. And a lot of people say it's because of the pandemic. I would say it's actually before the pandemic is when a lot of them started to go crazy with the pricing. You know, with pricecharting.com, people go there. Like if you really want to know the prices of things, I highly recommend you go check out Super Nintendo, good friend of the channel. He actually makes really good videos talking about, you know, price inflation and de-escalation. And so if you're looking for really good content about that, go check out his channel. Tell him I sent you. But yeah, it's really interesting how before the pandemic prices were going up. Because I remember being able, and I want to say like 2013 or so, being able to go into what we had out here is we've got Book Off, right? So being able to go into Book Off and pick up a PSP game for 5-10 bucks, right? So I was able to pick up a lot of PSP games I originally had that got stolen from me. So, you know, all the Ease games on PSP, Legend of Heroes games, even some rare titles like Valkyria Profile Lilith, and even Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. I was able to get those and many more, you know, um, for like $5, $10 tops, and even further older games like GameCube and PlayStation and Saturn and such. I was able to get those games for really cheap too. But then come I want to say 2018, 2017 to 20 till now, you know, the retro market has just boomed to the point where it's near impossible trying to get hardly any of these games. My Lunar collection right now, I don't even want to think about how much that costs. And I don't even have a full complete collection of that because I'm missing certain things from my Lunar Silver Star Story Complete physical edition. But yeah, it's interesting how the retro market has just climbed up, and so access to these games is really difficult. So you do have stuff out there like, you know, being able to go to websites to download ROMs. You know, archive.com is one. You got other sites like, you know, what is it, Romance, CD Romance, and many others, where you can go and you can get these games. Not all of them, but majority of the ones you want to get are, you know, Vim's Lair, that's another one. You can get a lot of them and download them. And if you got the emulator, you can play them. That's one of the big things with the Steam Deck is, you know, installing EmuDeck on this and being able to run pretty much, I just hit my microphone and I hit my, whatever, you know, and being able to play these games, you know, on the deck. I mean, you can run stuff from PlayStation 3 not a whole lot, but a good majority of PlayStation 3 titles somewhat decently. And 360, yeah, but you know, on back, Wii U, Wii, and more, you can play them and they run. You know, some flawlessly, some not so flawlessly, but you effectively can play almost everything on top of PC right on deck. And any of these portable gaming PCs, even with retro hardware, so like your 3DS, people are jailbreaking them because the eShop's closed and installing games on it. So you can do that. You know, the DS as well. You've got stuff like the analog pocket here, and then you can just, well, I don't have it in here right now, but you can put like, you know, stuff like you know, anything from Crix, you know, like the carts that let you put all your carts or all your ROMs and whatnot. And you can play even with something like that, you can play generations back, these retro handhelds that are Android based. You can play so many, even ones with Garlic OS. You know, we're at a time where access to these games is not impossible. The issue is the fact, and I understand, this is where I'm like, I understand the argument is that companies are not making these games easy to find, let alone easily accessible. So like if you want to pick up a physical, it's damn near impossible, one, to find it, two, for it to be a reasonable price. And then companies like Nintendo, who has legacy, you know, games and titles and such, they're not putting them all on the Switch eShop, right? So there are a lot of titles that a lot of people want to play. They're not available. And it's interesting, especially with Nintendo, and I understand the issue people have with Nintendo with, you know, the Wii shop, the Wii U eShop, you know, these are very different. And then the Nintendo 3DS eShop, like they've got all these different, you know, storefronts that don't cross over into the other. And then every time a new successor console comes out, you don't have a way to easily access your back catalog. So in a way, your digital purchases you don't fully own in a way. So people, you know, have an anger towards, you know, Nintendo for shutting down or trying to shut down people who, you know, offer ways you to play it, you know, ways for you to emulate their consoles. I'm not mad at Nintendo for trying to protect their intellectual property, but I also understand that Nintendo needs to do better and present a way for people to be able to play their games. Because here's the thing, as much as people complain about Switch tax and buying old games on Switch, if Nintendo were just to make all their retro titles from legacy consoles available, purchasable, people will buy it. We saw it with the Wii, you know, the Wii shop. We saw it with the Wii U. We saw it with the 3DS, the DS. People will spend the money. So Nintendo does a lot of things backwardsly. So, and I want this to be clear too. Just because I work with Nintendo and I know people that work there, you know, I'm not a Nintendo brand ambassador or anything like that. But because people assume that I have a connection, or they know that I have a connection with Nintendo, they will say, "Oh, you're defending them." I'm not. I'm not. Nintendo is behind on a lot of things. I mean, how long did it take them to finally give us access to Bluetooth on the Switch, which is ridiculous that it took that long. So Nintendo does a lot of things backwards. Every company does. You know, do I like that they do cease and desist on fan projects of games? No, but they're a very Japanese company, very much protecting their intellectual properties. So am I gonna be someone who's gonna call out Nintendo like so many are doing? No. Um, there are reasons for that. One, the only points you score effectively by doing stuff like that is with your audience or people online. That doesn't, and I say this as someone who works with the gaming industry and tech industry and many industries. You don't want to make a lot of enemies. Hell, you don't want to make any enemies, to be completely honest. And I would rather sit back and just let this pass over because it's the flavor of the month, right? People are mad now. The internet forgets. They're mad about something, then they forget. You know, goalposts are constantly shifted. I'm personally one who's just going to sit back and watch and continue to work with companies and continue to grow my brand. I don't want to, because at the end of the day, as much as we can have subscribers and followers and all this other stuff, that's great. That truly is. But when you get to a point where you are so emboldened to the point you call out these companies and then you get to where they don't want to work with you, and the industry is very small. I don't know how people don't realize that. It seems massive, but the people who select who to work with, who give out the keys, who give out the products, it's a microscopically small pool. And you piss off the wrong person, that goes around. And you can come up on another company who wants to work with you. And then once they get, you know, whoever you pissed off before gets wind of it, you're done. It's just how this is. And I don't want to be one of those people that I've got the subscriber base, and then my content is fully monetarily supported by viewers. I don't want that. Like, do I want people to become patrons and channel members and all that, and super chat and all that stuff? Yes. But at the same time, I don't want to be dependent upon that. If I'm going to get money out of anyone, let me get it out of companies who want to pay me for stuff, right? I'm like, case in point, I'm doing a bunch of different tech reviews, right? Stuff that got sent to me. So, for example, Western Digital sent me over this. I guess I need to push this hard drive. And all right, cool. They sent me over that, and I'm doing a video and I'm getting paid, right? I want to get my money from companies. I don't want it to be, coming fully from people, just because then you get the people who feel like they can control your content. And then if you ever decide to shift up, then people probably will drop you. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. I don't care about trying to be a martyr, trying to, I'm sticking it to Nintendo. You're not going to stick it to Nintendo. Nintendo's been around for nearly 200 years. You're not sticking anything to them. And in the long run, Tears of the Kingdom, which is the main issue a lot of people are having with Nintendo because it's been leaked out and people are running it on their Steam Decks already. Some are running it on their pirated Switches, some are running it on their PCs. I haven't done any of that. I'm waiting, like a lot of you, for my collector's edition or my regular edition. Well, me, I got collectors and I got a digital. I might have a review copy coming in, but I'm not trying to make an enemy out of a Nintendo, because I may, and the reason, because I've been there and I've seen it before. You want, you don't want to make enemies in this field. You really don't. But yeah, I'm willing to wait. Wait, I get it, play it, make my review on it, and then gets out to you guys. But yeah, this outrage, it's not new. We've been here before. People have bashed Nintendo. I don't know how many people remember when you could not stream a Nintendo game because Nintendo would copyright claim you and strike your channel. Y'all remember that? Now you want to get mad at Nintendo for anything? Get mad at them about that. Because that was a ridiculous time. You couldn't stream any Nintendo game, period. Because then Nintendo Ninjas was coming after you. But like, I don't know. I just feel like we need to better choose what we're gonna get upset about. Because honestly, anyone who's pirated don't give a fuck what Nintendo says. They're gonna pirate stuff anyway. Am I condoning or encouraging it? No, I'm telling you to do what the F you want to do. It ain't my choice. You do what you do. I do what I do. But yeah, it's just interesting to me. So no, I'm not about to call out Nintendo. I see people doing that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Anyways. So I guess the last thing I want to talk about. I'm working on several videos. So I got the Apple Watch Ultra. That came in. Big shout out to my wife for getting that for me. So I'm working on a review of this. I'm working on a review of my Mac Studio. Not Max, is it? Yeah. The Mac Studio Max. I think that's the name of it. Let me look it up. Yeah, Apple M1 Max Studio. That's what I got. So I got a base configuration of it, 512 gig, but I've got that hard drive and I've got a base with like 2 terabyte M.2 SSD. So I don't store anything internally on it. And this thing has been a champ. Video editing has been great. Recording podcasts, everything I need. It is not had one hiccup whatsoever. I'm just blown away with it. I'm like, man, this thing is this thing is amazing. So I've absolutely been loving that. So I'm gonna do a review on that. It's Apple Watch. Um, both the Pixels, and this is the case my wife is using. She likes this. This is my case for my Pixel. So she's got the Pixel 7. I've got the 7 Pro. And other things I'm working on, I got some Steam Deck docks, which I was actually surprised because I know I've said before, like I wasn't going to do any more videos on Steam Deck docks, but I've gotten 2 come in. One I'm covering mainly because I wanted this Nintendo Switch case, which is dockable, which is also cool because you can put your carts in there, even though I don't really use carts. Almost all my stuff's digital. But nonetheless, this makes the base Switch OLED way more comfortable. So that's one. And I got this other one from Syntac, which is really cool. It's a slim Steam Deck dock. And I'm reviewing. I just, that one was one to just pique my curiosity because I know they reached out, this company Syntac, they reached out to me months ago, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And then they didn't get back to me because they missed my email. And then when they finally got back to me, they sent it over. So I'm working on a review on that. And other than that, I've got some Steam Deck products that have come in from JSOC. So I've got this fan. I know this is not new, and it's mainly because I get a lot of stuff really late from JSOCs. But I got this come in, and you attach it to your Steam Deck, and basically you turn on the fan. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Probably not. But this keeps it cool. And there's another one that they gave me, which I'll show you later on, or I probably just throw up a clip of it. But it's interesting because it requires you to attach this magnet to your Steam Deck. And I thought we kind of agreed we should need magnets on Steam Deck, but I think this is also due to the fact that um, I think because they're using the weighing fan and not the Delta fan anymore, this shouldn't be an issue. I still have the Delta fan, so kind of like, I don't know if I want to connect that, but it cools it, and it really works really well. Let me grab it actually. This little device right here. So this connects to your Steam Deck. It's from JSOX, right? So you just need to put the magnetic strip on your deck, and then you connect this, and you press the button. And I'm actually shocked. This actually does make it very cool. I just wish I didn't have to connect that magnet to it. But I can see that this having a lot of uses, especially like with my phone. So like if I were to game with it, I actually could see myself using it more on my smartphone than I'd want to use it on my Steam Deck. But nonetheless, it's an option. So I'm going to be doing videos on that. I got more backplates. So all the transparent backplates JSOX has, they sent that in to me. So I'm going to do a video on one of them, and I believe I'm going to do some giveaways. So I might just start giving away some of these accessories. I got a carrying backpack that they sent me as well, which is really nice. And some of the other stuff that JSOX has, I'm actually curious in covering, is PlayStation VR 2 stuff. I have a PlayStation VR 2, and I know that hasn't been doing as well as a lot of people thought it would. But then, again, the price, and I'm a PlayStation partner, but the price of it has been absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with, on top of it only being available through PlayStation website. Apparently now it's going to be going to GameStop, but they dropped the ball with that, in my opinion. I think they could have done a hell of a lot better with that. But again, this is a situation where it's like, companies, they do certain things that just don't make any sense. And I think the sooner we can understand and accept that companies mess up, and rightfully so, criticize them, but there's a way to give criticism and feedback without being disrespectful, and that's something a lot of people don't seem to understand. So there's that. But anyways, outside of that, like I said, I enjoying streaming on TikTok. I've been really enjoying that. Enjoying Honkai Star Rail. That game is so much fun. I know it's a mobile game. A lot of people don't like it's interesting. People think mobile games aren't real games, just like they think MMOs aren't real games. A lot, it's kind of crazy to think that, but a lot of people do have that mentality. And all I gotta say is like, hey, you played like what you like. You know, what's the current topic too with Xbox? People mad about what Phil Spencer said, and so they think Xbox is gonna go under. And I'm just like, Xbox ain't going nowhere. Microsoft has too much money. The only time Xbox is gonna go under is when Microsoft decides they want to cut it, like they did with Windows Phone. But they're not. So I don't see them. And the whole Redfall situation, I haven't played Redfall yet. It wasn't something that really piqued my interest. I'm interested in Starfield, but not Redfall. But it's just one of those things where I see it, I see the outrage, and I feel like that's where there's a big disconnect for me with others who are in gaming, both on the content creator side and the consumer side, is the constant outrage over this. And this is not just in gaming, this is in everything right now. And I feel like, given that I'm 34, I'm be 35 this year, I feel like I'm at a point where I feel like 10 years ago was way better than it is now in a sense of discourse. Like now, people they're angry about everything. They're outraged about everything. Nothing's ever good enough. And it's too negative for me personally. So I bow out of that conversation. But it's something. And I guess people, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. All that being said, that's this episode. I don't think there's really anything else as far as like gaming news. We other than like Tears of the Kingdom is coming out this week. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully y'all enjoy this episode. If not, let me know respectfully. If it's disrespectful, I'm just gonna be like, anyways. Hopefully y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, and yeah, stay tuned.